And I'm going on Facebook. Good morning. Welcome to the Learner Tree Book Club. We read first Saturdays once a month. Um, and I'm a member of the Learner Tree Book Club here in Jackson, Mississippi.
Yes. Good morning, everyone. As Meredith has said, that we are in the Learning Tree Book Club, and we do have our meeting on the first Saturday of each month. I am Vicki Jenkins. I'm a founder, and I'm the co-president, co-leader of the Community Library of Mississippi.
Anybody else?
Hi, my name's Salma. I am in fifth grade. I'm in fifth grade and I've been here for like
Since age 5.
I'm Salma Yusuf. I'm 10 years old and I'm in fifth grade.
My name is Miriam Yusuf. I'm in eighth grade and I am 14 years old.
Okay.
And good morning. I haven't been here for a while, but my name is Mary Hardy, and I live in Greenville, Mississippi. I'm the owner of the book gallery and Taliba Literary Club.
Yes. D. Deacon Templeton.
Pardon me? Oh,
Good morning, everybody. This is my name is Dickie Tender Brown Sr., part of New Arise Church International Dickie Ministry. I'm here to come into fellowship with Community Library Book Club. I'm just coming into fellowship to see people join the reading on this morning. I want to let you know I'm part of the Community Library Club.
Okay. Oh, Shirley, it's your turn. Okay. Just unmute. Right here. Right here. Now you go.
Okay. Okay. Good morning. My name is Shirley Francis. This is my first visit with the book club, and I'm happy to be here. I'll be reading some poetry from my book, No Recipe Intended by Shirley Francis.
Okay, glad
Nice
to
to see you all.
we got 3 states in here today. We got Pensacola, Florida, by way of New Orleans and Tennessee, Jackson, Mississippi, and Greenville, Mississippi. Reading today. Oh, okay. So, Miriam, do y'all want to start reading first?
I'll start first. So I've been writing poems about my soccer journey because I joined soccer this year and just wanted to write about it. Okay. Number one is called First Cleats. I lace them tight, new shoes squeak on the grass. It feels bigger than I ever thought. I breathe in the wind. This is where it begins. Awkward steps. The ball rolls away, my kick goes crooked, and my teammates laugh kindly. I laugh too. Every stumble feels like a learning to fly. First pass. I swing my foot, a clean thud echoes. The ball spins right, to waiting feet. A cheer sparks, and I feel part of the team. Learning defense. Coach points at me and says, "Stay back, guard strong." I plant my feet, watch eyes, not ball. My stance grows steady. Fear of my mistakes. What if I miss? What if I fall? The whistle blows, the game goes on. I tell myself, just try again. Practice pride. Sweat drips, lungs burn, shoes muddy, shirt heavy. But every sprint feels like progress. The night before the game, jersey folded, shin guards ready, dreams racing faster than my heartbeat. I whisper to myself, tomorrow I will defend. First game as a defender. Whistle shrills, opponent charging. I step in. The ball bounces away. Cheer rises, and I stand tall. A defender is born. Reading the field. At first I chased, always too late. Now I see the play before it begins. Feet shift, eyes sharp. I move with purpose. My first tackle. The ball comes near, a rush of courage. I slide low. Cleats scrape the dirt. The ball is mine. I rise grinning. Grass stains like badges. Teamwork grows. Left side, push up. I shout loud, and they listen. Voice link us like threads in a net. We defend together, stronger than one. Confidence rising. No longer scared of faster feet. I know my strength. Patience, timing. A wall in the way. I smile. This position feels like home. That's where I'm going to stop right now.
Hello, Miss Shirley.
Hello, how you doing?
I'm doing good.
That's good. It's good to be here. It's so good to be here. This
Mary Ann, I'm sorry. I have a question. You was reading about a
Okay.
ball game. Do you play ball or you was reading about being at a ball game?
No, I started my first season of soccer this year at school. That's what I was writing about.
Oh yeah. How
Yeah.
good are you?
I'm kind of learning, but I think I've improved a lot.
Oh, very good. All right, Solomon, what you got, girl?
I've got this this history book called Worst of Friends.
Oh, and it's a history book?
Yeah, it's about like John Adams and Tom Jefferson were like best friends, but like they still argue.
Oh, the presidents.
Yeah.
Okay.
John Adams and Thomas Jefferson were the best of friends, even though they were completely different. John was fat and Tom was thin. Tom was tall and John was short. Tom was rich and John was not. John was fond of telling jokes. Tom liked to play the violin. But that was only the beginning. Excitable, John could talk for 5 hours straight without stopping. Quiet Tom sometimes didn't say 3 sentences together in public. They were as different as pickles and ice cream, but that didn't matter because John and Tom were best friends. They walked together, they talked together, and, of course, they took care of each other. When Tom caught cold, John's wife, Abigail, worried about his sneezes. And when John's daughter needed new cord sets, Tom ran out and bought her some. Unfortunately, he wasn't sure what size would fit. But best of all, John and Tom had the same big, wonderful ideas about America. And whenever they had a chance to work for their country, they always did it together.
Oh, nice. Nice.
Back in 1776, when British King George was trying to force the 13th American colonies to obey harsh British laws and pay unfair British taxes, Tom and John got busy. Noisy John, who was one of the Americans' best talkers, told Americans to kick out King George and make America an independent country. Shy Tom, who was one of the Americans' best writers, sat down and wrote the Declaration of Independence to tell King George the colonies were free, and together Tom and John helped make America a brand new nation.
Was that at the Declaration of Independence signing?
Yeah, um, Tom Thomas Jefferson was like making the Declaration of Independence because he was like shy, but he was like a good writer.
Oh, okay.
Then, when the new nation needed money to pay its bills and friends to help it fight off enemies, Tom and John sailed across the ocean to Europe and taught kings, merchants, and prime ministers in helping America. That was tough work, but they did it together. And when British King George, who was still pretty mad at the Friends for helping America become independent, rudely turned his back on them during a court meeting. John Adams and Thomas Jefferson were insulted together.
Very good.
So naturally, you might think that Tom and John would always agree on everything about America, right? Wrong. Around 1790, they both came back from Europe. Something happened. For the first time, Tom and John had really different ideas about their new country. And when it came to deciding how to run the brand new United States government, the two best friends just couldn't agree. Tom said the president should always be the country's biggest, strongest boss, because a really strong and powerful president could defend the country's laws, and protect the people's freedom. Tom said no way. He 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 told everybody that a really strong and powerful president might break the country's laws and take away the people's freedom. In fact, said Tom, an extra super strong and bossy president might even try to make himself a king.
Good. Mhm.
And Tom wasn't going to let that happen. So he just had to fight against John's crazy ideas. That upset John. Without a powerful president, John pointed out, the whole brand new United States government might just fall apart. And John wasn't going to let that happen. So he just had to fight against Tom's crazy ideas. Now, of course, John and Tom were very polite. They didn't hit each other or shout. But instead of walking out talking together, they went their separate ways. Soon, Tom told all the people he knew that John was vain, suspicious, irritable, stubborn, and wrong. And John told all the people he knew that Tom was weak, confused, uninformed, and ignorant. And naturally, people took sides. By 1797, when John was elected to be the second president of the United States, and Tom was elected vice president, lots of Americans had different thoughts about how to run the country. One group, the Republicans Party, agreed with Tom's idea. The other, the Federalist Party, agreed with John. At the and the parties began to fight. Some Republicans and Federalists actually battled in the streets. Others crossed the world Other crossed the road to keep from meeting. Everyone called each other names. The fighting even got so bad that John had to have a special guard posted in front of his house to protect him from crazy people who absolutely hated having John as president.
Nice.
Poor John, poor John. He really wanted to be a good president, but there were so many problems. First, he had to find money to buy more ships for the Navy. Then he had to keep the United States from going to war with France. And on top of that, John had to move into the brand new president's house in the brand new capital city of Washington, D.C. But the paint and plaster in the White House weren't dry yet. And when Abigail hung her wash in one big empty room, it dripped. Still, John's biggest problem was the Republicans, led by his old friend Vice President Tom. No matter what John said or what he did, the Republicans were always criticizing and saying that John was repulsive, grossful. He even called John his runity, which was a fancy way of saying his old his royal highness fatness. John hated that, and sometimes all the complaints and names fighting him made him so mad that he took off his wig and stomped on it. So, in 1800s, when Tom and John both ran for president, they tried very hard to beat each other. John urged the Federalists to make speeches, write articles, and hold picnics, parades, and barbecues to tell everyone that he would be a good president. Tom urged the Republicans to make more speeches, write more articles, and hold more picnics, parades, and barbecues to tell everyone he would be a better president. And when after the election Tom won, John was not a good loser. Instead of staying in Washington to congratulate Tom at the inauguration, Tom sneaked out of the town on the 4 a.m. stagecoach, 8 hours before his old friend was sworn as in President of the United States. After that, John didn't talk to Tom, and Tom didn't talk to John. John went to home John went home to his Massachusetts farmhouse. He built stone walls, he split rails, and sometimes he complained the way Tom was running the country. Tom went to live in the White House as president. And of course, one of his biggest problems was the Federalists. No matter what Tom said or what he did, those Federalists were always there, complaining that Tom was a scoundrel who ate franchise bullfrogs, and criticized him for buying the state of Louisiana and a lot of other territories. And when Tom, who liked to study science, filled up the White House with 300 dusty mammoth bones and said were real live mammoths might actually still live in the American West, the whole Federalist Party said he was a doodle grinned, and laughed like crazy. But Tom stayed calm and went on complaining about the Federalists. Finally, after 2 whole terms as president, Tom retired and went home to his Virginia mansion. His hair turned white, his joints got stiff, but Tom read his 6,707 books. He rode on his horse, Old Eagle. He rode on his horse, Old Eagle, and he organized snowball fights and running races for his 12 grandchildren. Sometimes he thought about good old days when he and John had worked for American independence. Sometimes he must have missed his old best friend. And when an acquaintance asked about John Adams, Tom said that John was honest and great. John stayed in his Massachusetts farmhouse. His hands sometimes trembled and his eyesight grew dim. But he read 3,200 books and wrote nonsense. And the migrants when he didn't agree with the author. He took long walks, he played with Abigail's new puppy, and he served pudding to his 14 grandchildren. Sometimes he thought about the good old days, and sometimes he must have missed talking to his old best friend Tom. I always loved Jefferson, John said. Friends like Dr. Benjamin Rush, who signed the Declaration of Independence, along with Tom and John, said, for goodness sakes, why don't you two make up? Still, John wouldn't do it. Neither would Tom. And somehow, John must have kept thinking about his old best friend, because on January 1st, 1912, he picked up his pen. Dear Sir, John wrote, all of my family are well. I wish you many happy New Years. He signed the letter and mailed it to Thomas Jefferson, and waited. Would John write back? And I'm going to stop there.
Okay. I'm really happy that you chose to read about this particular piece of history. And I went back and I found this. So John Adams was the second president from 1797 to 1801. And they were best friends. And it sounds like you're saying that they stopped being friends for over a decade. And then you said it was John Adams who read 3,000 books, right?
John, yeah, he did.
And you
He
said,
stayed.
go ahead.
He stayed in his farmhouse in Massachusetts and read 3,000 books there.
Wow. And also, you talked about the Republicans and the Federalists. And was you saying that the Republicans wanted the people of America to have more power than the president, and that the Federalists wanted the president to be more like a king? Is that what you were saying?
Like the Republicans were on Thomas' idea, and the Federalists agreed with John's idea.
Oh, okay, okay. Did you study this in school? About this?
We're not learning about this yet, but our teacher gave us some ideas of what we're going to learn about. So I just decided to read this because he said we were going to talk about Thomas Jefferson and John Adams.
Oh, wow. Well,
Very good. That's very good.
Mary, you the teacher here.
Yes, that's what I do. That's that deep reading comprehension. When you can take a piece of information and convert it to a piece of writing. That's my favorite part of teaching. Is to give students that information and have them to conceptualize it, understand it, and write a piece. I do that. That's my favorite writing. Very good, Marianne. Love it.
Right. Okay, so any other comments? And we're gonna let Shirley Francis, who most of us already know. Uh, she's a published poet. Can you hold up your book so we could see it, Shirley?
You see it?
Yes, we see it. Did you all see it, Miriam and Solomon?
Yes.
And I wanted to just say this, Shirley, Miriam and Solomon have been writing poetry, what, maybe 2 years now?
Very good.
Uh-huh, uh-huh. Okay, so I think we'll have time for you to read maybe 3 pieces, and you can tell us why you wrote them, and anybody can ask her a question about her.
Okay. Okay. Well, you ready?
Yeah, just tell us the name of
Do I
the.
start reading? Okay.
Read.
The name is from my book, No Recipe Intended. And the name of this poem is the Winner. Okay, here it goes. When the game is over and the players all tie, what will happen to me, Grandma? Will I then die? Grandma, being wise and old, already in her grave, smiled down upon him and said, No, you I'll save. Often fear surrounds me, and I tremble in fright. Will you come to my bed and comfort me tonight? Why, I have never left your side, and I never ever will. You were standing by me, child, when time stood still. Every step you take, my dear, is not without me. While I was sitting next to you up in that chinaberry tree. Pardon me for laughing, but Grandma, you're so old. To see you climb a chinaberry tree will be a sight to behold. There was no effort to it, child, not a bit on my part. You carried me up that tree, right there in your heart. When you truly love someone and peace with them you find, they're with you always in your heart, soul, and mind. Okay, that was the winner. And I wrote that because my son was sick and he had surgery. And I looked at him and I thought about my grandmother. And I just sat down and wrote the poem. Now, this is the second one. Um, okay. Bits we'll do the recipe. Recipe is the second one. Okay. She had a child, and the child was wild. She said, Well, I don't know what to say. I don't know how she turned out this way. She rips and runs, won't study a bit. I say, as her mother, the child is unfit. Every other word is a curse, curse, curse. Of all my children, that one's the worst. I prayed and prayed hard. Lord, you know I did my part. Don't know what happened along the way, but somehow my child went astray. She went to Sunday school and to church, sung in the choir, meaning heart she touched. My child was raised and raised right. And if you say any different, you got to fight. Now her conscience speaks to her. She turned out right, just like a cake. Now she's in the oven getting ready to bake. And unless something goes right with the temperature, that child of yours is going to burn for sure. It's not her fault. And I don't mean to accuse, but look, my dear, at the recipe you used. You had a child, put her in a home from which most of the time you were gone. You added food, clothes, shelter at times. In between your whiskeys and wines, you added cruel names, vulgar in nature. Now, her ways aggravate you. You are consistent with your neglect. Now you sit and demand respect. You added lies, humility, and pain. Now of her you are ashamed. You seldom hugged her. Didn't you love her? I don't pity you and your self deceit. You didn't add any sugar. Now you want something sweet. That's recipe.
People that one right there, Shirley.
Okay. This one right here is the fix. It's it's on 21, page 21 of my book. It's the fix. While flying through the clouds, so beautiful and bright, my mind begins to float. I'm with you. It's yesternight. I see myself on a tiny bed, not made for two, but darling, in my bed, there's always room for you. The clouds are nice and fluffy, and I feel so secure. Your arms are so engulfing. Our love is surely pure. Pure what? Says the girl who loves him even more. You will fill his life with agony. You've done it once before. The clouds are turning gray now. The rain's about to come. Shut up, you little paragon, and let me have my fun. But she is so determined to put me to disgrace. The paragon walks up to me and slaps me in my face. The clouds are dark and loathsome, apprehension everywhere. She yells out, I love him. Don't you even care? I say to her, you silly fool. Don't you understand? It doesn't matter at all to me. Take him if you can. Just go over and hold his hand. She goes to him and says to him, I love you so, my dear. He looks at her and says to her, girl, get away from here. She looks at me. I feel her pain, her shame, her agony. I laugh at her. I do not hide. I do this boldly. Then say to her, crack is not bad. Just try and you will see. Okay. Do we have one more? This is the last one. Composure.
Okay.
Okay. Today a storm came over me that I slowly overcame. Still, when the calm had crept right in, I felt the intense pain. The anger that had rendered in fulfilled my bloodshot eyes, and all the people loved by me were suddenly despised. How cruel at first it felt of me to judge their every move. Who was I to sit and critique or even disapprove? I watched them as they laughed and heard them as they spoke. Yet all the while it seemed like just a nauseating joke. So hard my efforts were to be a social part of this, but all the while my teeth were clenched and tightly balled my fist. The day did not leave, nor did they. So we were left alone. Only God felt my pain as I sat right there and moaned. There was no effort made by me to offer up a prayer. Perhaps I had convinced myself that God just did not care. If you think that things got better, well, they weren't expected to. A situation will not just change if one does not know what to do. So I went into the bathroom to try and cry a bit. Then suddenly my stomach cramped, and so I emptied it. That's it. That's it. That's them.
For reading, and we definitely appreciate you joining us, and we hope you'll be with us next month.
I will. I
O-
will. I enjoy.
Okay. Okay. So,
Thank you.
Miss Shirley, I heard my grandmother. Your first story, I heard my grandmother because it sounded just like my grandmother.
Okay. That's what
all
inspired
right.
me to grandmothers.
Yeah, going up the China berry tree, and also, the grandmother said that she had never left her, which kind of reminds you of the grandmother that you lost, but she's still with you in spirit. And
Yes.
that really got me on that poem. And I, of course, I've read it multiple times as
Okay.
the publisher, but she's just a wonderful poet. And so
Thank
I
you.
Vicky, we're gonna let everybody else read first, but I wanted to say this. This is our first time going live on Facebook since last year. We
Oh,
always read every month, but we don't always go live like we used to go live every month. And I think out of all these years, 8 years, we only missed one time. We missed last month because we was
oh,
in Columbus at Book Fest, and it
oh,
was
oh,
just a
oh.
wonderful event. But anyway, Shirley, we'll let you go. Demetrius, are you gonna read or you listening?
I'm just listening and I am enjoying it. I thank Miss Hardy for inviting me. You guys are awesome. That young lady is, oh my God, I have no words to explain. And the poem that resonated with me was Recipe. Oh, it is off the chain.
Thank you.
Uh, okay, Mary, what you got?
Well, I have a piece written by someone else. It's not an original, and it's entitled October. I thought since this is the beginning of the month of October, it kind of describes it. And it reads, days are getting shorter and the air a keener snap. Apples now are dropping into Mother Nature's lap. The mist at dusk is rising over valley, marsh, and fen. And it's just as plain as sunshine. Winter's coming on again. The turkeys now are strutting round the old farmhouse once more. They are done with all their nesting and their hatching days are over. Now the farmer's cutting fodder for the silos towering high, and he's fretting and complaining 'cause the corn's a bit too dry. But the air is mighty peaceful and the scene is good to see. And there is something in October that stirs deep inside of me. And I just can't help believing in a God above us when everything is ripe for harvest and the frost is back again. And that's just one of Edgar Guess's poems.
Oh, I love that.
October.
Who is
Yes,
The
I
happy
love
is
it.
getting cool.
It's,
who is that, Mary?
Edgar Guest.
Oh, okay.
Edgar Aguest. Guest.
Okay. You got something else?
This one is also about October. You know, October is the 10th month. I was
Uh,
going to share it this morning with the scholars, and that didn't make, so I'll share it with these scholars. It says October, the 10th month of the year. Some hate it, others think it's dear. The heat of the summer is done, and the sky sets high, the sun. But we know what is coming next. October's coolness puts it in context. Winter will soon be upon us, but enjoy the fall without fuss. The colors of October bring beauty to the trees and the things. The sun sets against the trees at night, shines the most beautiful light. October is the month of harvest. We pray and hope for the largest. We give thanks to God above, a time of the year to feel his love. And that's the 10th month by Catherine Pulsifer. It's Pulsifer. Thank you.
all right, thank you. And I want to Demetrius, we have in the chat the holiday book festival, which is the Saturday before Thanksgiving, and we're inviting people to get tickets to they can come and be vendors, or they can come and be spellers, or be in the poetry contest, because intellect matters. Thank you.
yes, yes.
Uh,
Thank you.
my book, I'm reading about David Honeyboy Edwards. He was um, a blues man born in 1915. He lived to be, I think, 93. But anyway, I fell in love with his story on page 5 because it's written in his voice. It's like you're sitting there talking to a man who can remember when he was 4 years old, who worked in the field and talked about being a blues man and traveling from state to state, playing in a park and playing um, the guitar and the harmonica in different places, and his parents played instruments. But anyway, I'm going to just read a couple of paragraphs, and then I'm going to let Vicky read. Um, okay. I said to him, okay, he said, tell this woman you're my brother, so I have somewhere to stay tonight. He's staying with a woman, so his friend is saying, tell her I'm your brother, so he has somewhere to stay too. I went and uh, she fixed breakfast, and that's when this one-eyed man taught me how to cheat. I said to him, I'm in bad luck. I can't make no money. He told me, you're a good square gambler. You ain't bad. You a fool, that's all. He got out a big sack of dice and showed me how he weighed them. So when they fall, they're going to fall on a certain spot every time. Oh my goodness. I don't know why I started on this paragraph right here. I'm gonna skip a little bit. A lot, a lot of times you couldn't get a job, and the people that had a job, they'll die before they'll turn their job loose. I had to make money off the public. Everywhere down south, I look for where the money was. Sometimes I look for a levy job. A levy camp is where the river breaks and floods the land, and man put up barrier to stop the water from coming over to the flat counties. The men live there while they're working on the levee. I'd hear from other musicians, well, so and so pays off next Saturday at Rosedale. I'd go to Rosedale when they paid off. I'd be right there. When they get paid coming out, I'm right there playing my harp and guitar. I'm going to make enough money to stake a gambling game. When I get me a good gambling stake, uh, probably the next one will be down by Rolling Fork at the lever down there. Rolling Fork is in Mississippi. I knew the paydays when they paid off and down the levees up and down the Mississippi, clean to Vicksburg. I didn't work, but I knew how they get paid off. I kept that in my book. He had a marketing strategy. All I need was one or two hot dollars to get in the game. Those men worked all week getting that 40 cents an hour. They didn't make much money, but the games would get real hot sometimes, and you'd be surprised what guys would bet. Shoot 50 cents, shoot the dollar, and they say, shoot two. I was so good, I take a blanket and put it down, smooth it out, and take the dice and roll them down to the end of that blanket, and they were going to come out on a 7. Oh my Lord. They probably don't know what 7 is. And he said, oh, that's free money. Then I would get on the way. I'm going down. I have been in bad places. I have been in places where I had to watch myself. When you gamble, you look for the danger spots. One time in Fulton, Mississippi, me and a friend of mine got into a crap game at the sawmill. So here they come with $2. Folks done worked all week and they trying to get all their hard work in the gambling game. But anyway, I'm gonna stop right here and let Vicky read. Vicky, you ready?
Yeah, since I'm going back to history, since this is 70 years of since Emmett Till, 70 years after Mamie Till Mobley lifted the coffin of her mutilated bodies of her 14-year-old son, Emmett, and exposed his brutally racism in America, the world, and community, gathering August 28, 2025 at Burr Oak Cemetery in Aspen, Illinois, to mark the 70th anniversary of Till's lynching death, which ignited the civil rights movement. It was one of a dozens of observances around the country commemorating commemorating the Chicago lynching of death in August 28th of 1955, when Till was abducted, beaten brutally by two white half brothers because they said that Till whistled a white woman. On August 27, Till's cousin, Ray Wheeler Parker Jr., the last living eyewitness to Till's abduction, beating, boarded an Amtrak Spirit train and traced the route back from Chicago. I want to say Clarksdale, but to Chicago to Mississippi. His traces roots 70 years ago to Mississippi. Parker was 16 when he heard Till went to spend time with his grandfather, also Till's great uncle, Moses Wright, outside of Money, Mississippi. Visiting would be Till's fate. Parker, 86, pastor of the Anglo Temple Church of Christ, Church of God, and only way that the only way Black person survived in the South during the 50s was to abide by its morals and stay out of harm's way. Nobody in the family felt Emmett was capable. He was a jokester, fun-loving, free-spirited, and yet allowed him to visit his great uncle. You didn't die in vain. You still speak from the grave, and we are going to carry your legacy, Parker told ABC in Chicago before boarding the train. It would be a story. It shouldn't have happened. In 2025, we still telling it because in some people they did not believe it. The stolen ceremony in Burr Oak Cemetery was much a revelation on Till's death, as Mamie Till Mobley bravely and in defiance observed the right to display his body publicly by the Mississippi authorities. Mamie insisted that her son's casket be opened, and his eyes were gouged out, and his face was beating beyond recognition. Till had also been shot and thrown into the Tallahatchie, weighed down by 70 pounds of a cotton gin fan to his body, wired to his body. Ollie Gordon, wearing a t-shirt bearing her cousin's name, Emmett. And it was important to keep saving, gathering, so that Till's story would be remembered. Gordon said she was with the family when Mamie in Chicago heard of Till's abduction, referred to her cousin as a sacrificial lamb for civil rights. We have to keep the story forefront as that remembering Emmett, Gordon said, but then we are learning to pour those into that came to Emmett. Reverend Cheryl Gathering, executive director of the Children of God Foundation, and Mamie's decision to have open the casket showing the mutilated body changed in the world, the death of Jet magazine forced the country to consider Emmett Till legacy. We're back into history now.
Yeah.
We back into history. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Mary Ann, I guess we have to go back to you all. Y'all want to read again? We've rotated around.
Sure.
Have y'all ever heard of Emmett Till?
No.
You haven't heard of Emmett Till? This is the reason why we're keeping this alive. So those of you who are of that age have not heard of Emmett Till and need to know something of the effect that it on the people and the world.
What is the effect, Vicky, of Emmett Till? What effect did Emmett Till have on the world? Since you want to explain it to them.
Well, I'm saying what the effect is on the world because of a lot of, I guess, of y'all's age and whatever, don't understand, don't heard the history of the racism and all about that. Because I know you talk about the history, but this is another episode of the history. Don't not understand what was happening and what is still happening. That's what I was talking about. That's the effects, what was happening in the 50s and what is still happening in 2025, because it's still happening. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, Mary, do you want to add something? Miriam and Solomon have never heard of Emmett Till. Do you, from a perspective of a teacher, how would you explain to them what happened to Emmett Till, who was 14 70 years ago, the impact that it had on our society?
Well, most of the children don't know about it. So what I do, in the event I don't explain it the way it should be explained, and to keep them from saying, Mrs. Hardy said this, and maybe it's not the way that they need to know, I will point to readings have them to Google, read about it, and then when they come back to me, try to answer those questions that they need answered. That's the way I handle it. So, and that's what I suggest, if they can find a book on Emmett Till, or if they all doing research, research and read about it. And then if they have questions, then I would answer.
Yeah, because if they
it gets to be very technical. And we have to be careful how we explain to children, because we want them to know, we want them to be able to hear the correctness of it. Yes. So that's how I would do it.
Yeah, and I think that one thing Mamie Till Mobley, his mother, was so brave at that time to defy the authorities and to expose what the men did to her 14-year-old son with the open casket.
Yeah.
And I think that that's one of the, there's so much more.
Yeah.
Because it's such an ugly part of our history.
Yeah.
Now, if anybody has never seen that Till movie, those who have the opportunity to see the movie should, because that tells more of the story of Emmett Till and his family. And should see the movie. Yeah.
And I'd like to say, at one time, the museum in Mount Bio had a replica of the body in the museum. So I don't know whether it's still there, but 2 years ago, we took a group of teachers to visit the museum, and it was on exhibit.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Graham and Solomon live in Tennessee. So will y'all take her up and Google it, or maybe watch the movie? What's the name of it? Emmett Till?
Emmett Till.
Oh, the name of the movie is just Till. T-I-L-L.
T-I-L-L. Till. Yeah.
On YouTube. Okay,
And
well,
they need, and it depends on the temperament of the child, what they know, their background knowledge. It could be shocking and hurtful. So you don't want to, even though it's true, you don't want to smooth it, but you don't want to put a detriment there.
yeah. But I think the movie Till was it's not as shocking as it was for me to see the Jet magazine.
Yeah.
Well, now
it's not the movie Till. I think they could watch the movie Till. I still have the Jet magazine because my grandmother had it, and I collect books and magazines.
But I have some teachers, because I'm from that area, Mary, and
Yes.
I have some teachers who did know Emmett and did know his mother. That is why it is still sticking with me, because every time I would go, I had a teacher that did teach history. She didn't teach the history that some people taught history to be. But that was how I learned of Emmett Till, that had some that knew Emmett Till and his mother. That is how that affects me so much. Yeah.
I can understand that. Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, and there's a age gap in the history, because she was just reading from 1797.
Yes. Yeah.
Till was what, 1955?
Yeah. That was when he was abducted in 1955 in Tallahatchie.
Yeah.
That's right. And a good looking, handsome guy.
Yeah.
And
To see him before and to see him after, it's heartbreaking.
Yeah, it is. See, that's why I said because my teachers didn't know him. That's why I'm saying that why it affects me so because I know somebody who did know him
Yeah.
personally. So
Makes it personal, yes.
Okay, so y'all can go ahead and read. Oh, y'all can go ahead and read, Marianne. Thank you.
I'll just continue with the soccer poems I was reading about earlier. Number 13, winning the ball back. They sprint, I shadow, they cut right, I cut deeper. A clean seal, and the crowd erupts. Defense turned attack. First shout of praise. Great block, coach calls out. My teammates clap my back. It's small, but it feels like a trophy in my chest. Defender's pride. Not the goal scorer, not the spotlight, but the guard, the backbone. The one who stomps storms before they strike, and I wouldn't trade it for the world. Quick feet. They run fast, but so do I. Every stride eats the grass beneath me. Speed is my shield, my secret weapon. The chase. The ball breaks free, my heart pounds, only me. No backup, no time. I run, the world blurs. Our kick pulls back, I dive in, stretching faster than fear itself. My foot strikes first, the ball skids away. Safe. Gasps echo, silence hang, when cheers explode like fireworks. I stand tall, knees shaking but smiling wide. Minutes later, the striker breaks through. One shot, one net, 1-0. The scoreboard blazes like victory's flame. We leap, we shout, arms tangled together. Even opponents grin. A game well played. The field hums with joy. With the flash of a camera, our sweat and smiles captured forever. 8th grade pride, present to the pages waiting for us in the school yearbook. The sky blazes gold, clouds printed in fire. We walk off together, winners, teammates, defenders of the day. The sunset whispers, this is just the beginning. And that is my joy of an unforgettable first season of soccer.
Okay, Marianne, you was finished with your poem? Oh, I did. I have one question that I wanted to ask both of y'all. Have you ever heard of George Floyd? How old was you in 2020?
Oh yeah, we know George Floyd.
How old were you in 2020?
How old was I? Uh,
You're 12?
I think I was 12 or 11.
How old are you now?
I am 14.
No, no, okay.
Wait, yeah.
Okay, I think you was 9. So you did hear
Yeah, I was 9.
you did hear of George Floyd.
Yeah.
George Floyd is a modern day Emmett Till, and that's someone you actually saw. It was 65 years after Emmett Till. So that's something you've seen you felt the shock that we felt when we saw what happened to Emmett Till. So y'all you saw that? Did you see the footage
Of Emmett Till?
of George Floyd?
George.
You
Yeah,
heard?
we saw. Yeah,
Floyd, yeah.
we saw the
Oh
news.
wow! So they've already been shocked, and they were shocked like we was. We can't even protect them because history repeats itself.
Repeats itself. That's
And
true.
that's
That's
what
a
it
good way
is
to put it.
because George Floyd was quote unquote Emmett
Okay.
Till.
Yes. Oh wow, that's because you were 9, but uh Silent may not have seen it because
Yeah.
she would have been maybe 4 years old. But anyway, that was the Martin Emmett
No,
Till,
George Floyd.
huh?
No.
Okay. So what how when you saw that and you were 7 years old, how did you deal with that? What did you and your classmates talk about? You was like what, second grade?
Most of the kids in my grade, they didn't really understand, so I couldn't really talk to it, but parents around me talked about it and I could understand it. I don't know why, but I did understand.
Oh wow, you understood it at age 7.
Yeah.
And that was 1955.
That was 65 years between Emmett Till and George Floyd.
So I was 8, I guess, 55.
Oh yeah,
So that happened in 1955, right?
yes.
And I was born in 1947. So I was what? How old was I?
You were born.
1955 minus 1947. You was 8.
I was 8 years old.
Was you able to process it at
I
8?
don't know. I really don't know.
Because I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
Because I was just beyond shocked to see his face
Mhm.
in the book, in the magazine. It was like
Yeah.
really
So I
hard.
was probably like, at that time, I was probably like Marianne and Salma, you know.
And
I don't really, I don't remember. I don't know. I think I read about it later. I don't remember it.
Mary Ann said she understood it, and her parents,
You understood it?
but she understood the tragedy of it, and her parents discussed it with her. But she said
Yeah.
her classmates didn't understand. Is that correct, Mary Ann?
Yeah. Yes.
Uh-huh. Okay. Wow, isn't that something?
That is. That's how history repeats itself.
But they had to live it too.
What happened to the police officer? Oh yeah, he should.
Okay, Solomon, you ready to read? Well, sometimes these discussions and backstories are important to really
Yeah.
understand the story.
Yeah.
So, thank you for the patience of letting people talk through that piece of history. Because Solomon, you started all this history stuff, went back to 1797, girl. What you got? What you got now?
So I'm going to continue the part where John like sent a letter back to how John sent back a note to Tom, like trying to like apologize to him. So that's where we left off. 1 month later, the postman brought a letter. John tore open the envelope. The letter was from Tom. John answered right away. After 11 years, there was so much to say, and Tom and John could hardly write letters fast enough. When John's son, John Quincy Adams, was elected the 6th President of the United States, Tom said congratulations. When John was feeling silly, he made jokes. Once he signed a letter, J.A., in the 98th year of his age, still too fat to last much longer. And when Tom said they both out to forget that their big fight had ever happened, John was so happy. It was the best letter ever written, he said. After all, John told Tom, you had a great, you had a good right to your opinion as I had to mine. Yes, Tom said. People could have different people could have different ideas and still be friends. So it would be all right if that sometimes John thought one way and Tom thought another. Little differences didn't matter because Tom and John were best friends. Sick or well, they kept on writing to each other. And when Tom and John both died on the very same day, July 4th, 1826, and the 15th birthday of American independence, the whole country was sad, and people all over the United States stopped to remember them. They remembered that Thomas Jefferson and John Adams had been presidents and pres- vice presidents and ambassadors and sometimes bitter enemies. But most of all, people remembered that Tom and John were best friends who helped America grow up and grow up together.
So they both died July the 4th. Did you say
Yeah,
1826?
yeah, 1826. They both died on the same day.
Yeah, I didn't even know that. You know, it would be really nice if you could keep reading about that period in history to understand the ideals of our young country and the founders and how we the role that how we were in that society based on the ideals because you really that book really opens up a lot about our young country. It was really young then after the Declaration of Independence and those different ideals. Thank you so much for that. Um, well, Mary, you guys, oh no, Shirley, are you still? Oh, she's not there. Uh, Mary or Vicky, one of y'all have something to read, and I guess because we got about 10 more minutes.
No, the only thing I had to read was about Emmett, but I don't have anything else to read right now. I can.
Okay, Mary, you got something? If not, I can find some.
Okay, I don't have anything else.
Okay, okay. I'm gonna read some of this. Little girl lost but found, cause this is poetry. I'm gonna read about two of those, and then we're in. And this is by Catherine Harris. Um, we published this 2023. Okay. This is the artwork, and she actually drew the art. Can you see it? It's black and white. Okay. I think I'm starting to. Once again, the nighttime made its fall. Baby girl needed to see the entire room. Okay, and this is baby girl in the room. Can y'all see that? She's sitting there looking outside. Her back was pressed against the wall. Her mind was overloaded with fear. She held her blanket so tight. She kept it close to her, always near and always dear. Many nights she asked Mama, "Can I sleep with you?" Mama replied, I can do better than that. I'm going to empower you. Scared little girl, lean on me. I've been up and down this road. Once upon a time, this scared little girl was me. Sometimes in life were very, very scary. I'm sorry, some things in life were very, very scary. Sorry about that. Some things in life were very, very sweet. Sometimes it makes me cranky. Sometimes it makes me want to be by myself and all alone. Oh, I understand that. No TV, no television, only music to drown the pain. Sitting at a window, watching the clouds, watching some rain. Sometimes I cried. Family didn't notice. Family didn't see. But a great thing happened, like a bird going south for winter. The fear flew far, 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 far away from me, like a shooting star, gliding through the night sky, no longer hiding. And I was ready to go on that ride. And can you see the artwork on this page?
Somewhat, yes.
Okay, I don't know, it's not so clear. It's clear in person. But there's a mother holding her daughter, reading to her, and I guess the image is her empowering her to overcome her fear of the night. Because she asked her, Mama, can I sleep with you? And she's uh, giving her the power to be able to sleep on her own without fear. And then I started to work. I started my fight. I grew strong in my heart and in my mind, 1 foot at a time, climbing along the mountain side of life. Decided to be happy, you see. I am happy and unafraid. This is the life I chose for me. And you, my dear, can have the same. You will capture strong thoughts. Negative thoughts you will learn to tame. And this is it's just a shadow in there. It's a shadow in there. But anyway, she's strong, holding the rope and climbing up a mountain. And then on that note, we're in until next month, first Saturday. And you all have a wonderful rest of the day. Happy reading and don't eat too much candy for Halloween. And yeah, y'all already know.
Thank you.
See y'all later. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. I enjoyed it.
Okay, thank you for
Thank
sitting
you.
in.
Thank you.
All
But
right.
now, Mary,
Don't forget to read the chickens, man, and download the spelling list. Oh, and Mary Hart is over the spelling bee. We've been doing it how long? 5, 6, this is the 6th year.
6
Oh,
years.
okay, yeah.
okay. Thank you. See y'all later.
Okay.
Have a good day, y'all.
Okay.
You too.
Bye-bye.